Hello and welcome back to the second episode of LSU Behind the Mic. Today we are joined by...
Lucy Palmer.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am the Student Communities Executive Officer here at LSU.
So can you talk us through a bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Every day looks different, so it depends a bit on the day, but I kind of oversee 3 sections. Action, which is our volunteering section, RAG, which is our fundraising section, and all of the societies. So day to day it could be anything from planning and running Chairs Council, which is where all our societies' chairs sit, and we kind of review constitutions and any issues that are cropping up there, to sitting with the Action and RAG Committee and discussing what's going on.
So what initially drew you to the role of Student Communities EO?
Good question, and I'm not sure I've got a straight answer.
Okay.
I think my whole time at Loughborough led me, like, there's little things that happened and it's kind of just led me up this path that's ended me here. I couldn't pinpoint one point at which I was like, yes, I'm going to run for this role. I think various conversations I had with people, a few people, when I look back at it, a few people like planted the seed of like, oh, are you going to run in the exec elections? Because obviously you have to run in the election, so it's not like I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go for it and whatever. I was like, okay, I'll run a campaign, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, we'll just see. And I don't know, I always say there's no harm in doing it because you'd be in the same position either way if you didn't do it and if you did it and didn't get it.
Talk us through some of your experiences that you had during your time at university, such as, I know you were water polo chair as well. Yeah. Has any of that had an influence in the role that you decided to go for?
The first thing I got involved with, the week I moved to Loughborough, went to the bazaar. I'd played water polo before and I thought, right, I'll join the water polo team. Like, I've got to join something. I'm here, like, I didn't come with anyone to university. I didn't know anyone. A few of my flatmates were like, oh, this person from my school's come or whatever. I thought I literally knew no one. Anyway, it came out later that I did actually know a few people. And went to the bazaar, got involved in freshers, went to the water polo trials, got into water polo. That's probably the first kind of thing I got involved with. And then it came around to hustings in halls, and someone said, oh, Lucy, you're running in hustings. And I was like, I hadn't really thought of it, but oh, let's have a look. And then I ran for hall chair because someone said, well, I think you'd be good at it, and what I'd kind of done through school, and I'd just talked to people and they were like, Lucy, you're a good candidate for it, do it. And I did run unopposed. I ran for hall chair, got hall chair, and then that was where it all began, really, I think. Mm-hmm. And then the following, I also ran, I did a lot in my first year. I ran for hall chair, and then I became social sec of water polo. And then the following year, I ended up as society's rep on my hall committee, so after I was hall chair. And then I was chair of water polo the next year.
From a community perspective, did all of these things that you get involved with help with creating and building your own? Yeah,
I think so. And I'm someone that's kind of, I've been in a lot of things, and a lot of Loughborough students will say the same, like they're in, it feels like everything. It's not everything because there's so much, but I was involved, I was chairing my hall committee and running events in and through my hall, so I had a kind of community there. And yeah, and then the same with water polo on a smaller scale, because we all know each other, well, it's a smaller group and we knew each other a lot better, and that kind of had a community there. And the whole Loughborough community, everyone says the Loughborough bubble, and I think, yeah, having that built my Loughborough bubble as such, and everyone's in the Loughborough bubble, but within it, everyone's got their kind of little communities and they're involved in different things. And I think that is kind of how I've led me to do this. I think building a hall community, or being a chair of a hall and creating that community, it makes me realise the impact that these smaller communities have on everyone, really.
When I joined LSU Media in my second year properly, that's when I was really able to gain a sense of community and like a family sort of feel at university. When did that moment happen for you?
I don't think there is one moment. I think, oh God, I can't pinpoint one moment of like that was the point of when I felt properly part of a community. But I know that being part of water polo and part of that team really made me feel part of something. I think at the time I wasn't really sure what it was, but I was like, no, like this is what happens, and like we go to training, we're doing this, and we became like quite close knit quite fast, because like you don't realise when you're at school, but living 5 minutes from everyone, you do just become quite close quite fast because you're spending a lot of time together. And I loved it, and being involved in that was kind of great. And then that was my first thing I was involved in. And when I came back after Christmas, and I thought I need to get involved in something else, because I've got that community, but like my course was quite, I don't quite know what the word is, but like engineering, for example, they have lectures like 9 to 5, they're really busy. I had quite a lot of extra time. So I felt like I needed to get involved in something else and kind of throw myself into another thing. And that's how I ended up ending on a hall committee, and kind of building that community. I think the first point was probably water polo, but then from there, that kind of gave me the courage to go out and do more.
So your role as Student Communities Executive Officer, what's the most rewarding part of it? Because obviously a lot of it is about talking to students, making sure their societies and sections are running correctly, and that helping them build that family feel and that community together. What's the most rewarding part of it for you?
Honestly, I think knowing the impact it's having on some students, because there is that one student, or there's more than one, every student that has come to university and they're thinking, oh my goodness, what have I done? I don't know anyone, this is a brand new place, what's going on? Kind of not got their community yet, and everyone has different interests, everyone wants different things, and seeing the societies and the communities that they are building with these first, second, third year students, like welcoming them in and them finding their place in the Loughborough bubble is probably the most rewarding part. Like standing at the bazaar, like we were upstairs, like we could see the kind of everything happening, and just seeing the committees talk to these people and their faces kind of being like, oh, okay, I can get involved here, and I know like this is the part that I feel confident in, and I know what I'm doing, so I'll join this community, and that I can just see, and I know it will give them the confidence to do things in the future, like go on the committee of the society they joined and create their community with each other and build their friendships that probably will last longer than university, I'm sure. And the same with Action and RAG. I love that I'm able to be that support for people to build the communities that they want to have, and kind of have a backing that hopefully they believe in.
What advice would you give to first years who are just joining university?
Yeah.
And they might not have that many friends, they might be feeling a little bit lonely or a little bit shy. What would you tell them?
Everyone's been there. Everyone's done it. Everyone was just as scared as you were to do it. And people are there to help you and want you to get involved. I remember like seeing at the bazaar, people are a bit unsure, and that is normal. You're in this brand new space, you've never seen anyone, but like probably never seen anyone in this room before. Suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get involved in something here, because if not I'm going to do nothing. Just go and get involved and go and talk to someone. Everyone in Loughborough, well, I'm going to speak for everyone here, maybe people might not agree, but everyone is more than happy to point you in the right direction, and there are so many people, so many student volunteers that know what it's like. They were you once, even like I was once that little fresher who had just arrived and thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And now I'm sure plenty of people probably look at me and go, oh my gosh, but you've done all this stuff. But yeah, I was once arriving on campus with not a clue how to get to anywhere or what to do. I'd been to Loughborough once before, So yeah, just do it and don't be scared to kind of get involved. And then once you're involved, don't be scared to ask questions. The other person that you're thinking, oh, I really got on with that person at whatever thing you went to, is probably also sat there going, oh, I really got on with them. Like, just message them and say, should we go and do something? Like, you are building your own community, and I think, like, the student communities that I oversee give you that kind of and that's how you're meeting people, but you can, like, build it outside of that too. But just because you've got training on a Monday night doesn't mean you only have to see them once a week on Monday night. Ask them, say, should we go for coffee? Should we go for a drink? Do you want to come around and watch a film? Like, I'm sure people will be thinking the exact same of, oh, I've got an evening with nothing to do. And plenty of people do, because no one knows anyone anyway. They'll be grateful to have you messaging going, can we do something? Or I know I was. Some people would message me going, oh, should we go and do this thing? And I was like, oh my goodness, yes. I want something to do, let's go. And I'm sure if I messaged people saying, should we do this thing, they were probably thinking the same. But just, I don't know, don't be afraid to be slightly bold, or feel like you're being slightly bold in saying, like, should we go and do this thing? Because everyone is, I especially think in kind of like, in quieter periods of term, everyone is kind of looking for something to do, should we say, maybe, or like, no one knows what they're doing. Everyone's making it up as they go. And if they feel like they've got a plan, people like to have a plan, even if it's just you're going to go for coffee with them on Tuesday morning.
You've worked at the union for a good few months now.
Yeah.
What's it been like?
If I had to sum it up in one word, I think I would say hectic, but in a good way. I was going to say chaos, but that's got some quite negative like connotations to it. But I just think a fun chaos. It's so busy. There's so much going on. And it just amazes me every time what our students manage to pull off and what they want to do. They're like, we want to do this thing. I'm like, okay, let's do it. How are we going to do it? Yeah. But I also think another word I would use to describe the union is unknown. I still think I'm discovering things that happen and things that people do and groups. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Even at Festive, where I literally I was the person going, yep, you can perform this time, you can do this, you can do that. I was discovering these performances that I didn't even realise, these societies that I knew existed, but I didn't realise what they did. And I remember standing there going, oh my God, this is brilliant. I would never have thought, yeah, I want to get more involved with things. I'm like, please invite me, tell me when things are happening, because I want to come watch all your things. And just see like the talent that we've got here on campus, and there is a place for everyone. Like, if you want to dance, for example, there is such a broad range that you can be so specific. If you want to do a very specific style, there is the option to do that. And I think, yeah, discovering the unknown, and I love learning about different groups and different things that are going on, and I love getting involved, to be honest, and just seeing what's going on.
You have a group of 5 executive officers, including yourself. What's it like working with them?
To be honest, there's days where we don't see each other because we're all running from like one place to another, and we all obviously oversee different sections, but there is always an overlap, and it's nice when there is an overlap to kind of see. For example, I probably think maybe not just me, maybe me and Harry kind of actually dip into everyone's a lot more than the other 3, because action is in like action and rag and societies, like they can get involved in all the sections. So like I had a meeting with Becca the other day about how we're going to get action rag, get the kind of collaboration officers and get departments involved as much as other sections are, and like the same action rag societies all sit in HSF as well. So I've been involved with halls, I've been involved with sport a bit, getting collabs between action rag societies. So yeah, there's days where we see each other all day, every day, and we're in like back-to-back meetings together. There's days where I literally don't see them. And then there's nice days like this evening, we've all been invited to an event in the university and we'll get to see each other and we'll just kind of all go around. But it is nice to catch up sometimes because we do get slightly, spun into the crazy of what's going on and everything's happening. Then it's nice to sometimes just sit down. Like we have our bi-weekly exec catch-ups where we're just like, oh my god, you actually exist still.
On those days when there's a lot going on, where you feel quite stressed out, how do you take a step back and how do you deal with that?
I think compared to some people, I'm quite good at I can realise, oh my god, this feels like the world is falling apart. Because you can get so focused into one thing that feels like it is the whole world. I try and think or realise that even though it feels like right now the world might be on fire and falling apart, it is not the whole world. And it is just a group. It is just in Loughborough. The whole world is not going to go wrong and it can be fixed. I always think things can be fixed and things are going to go wrong when people are involved, when life happens, things happen. And I want to be there as that person that people can kind of come running to when they feel like their world is falling apart and this event is meant to be happening and now this is going on, and I'm able to then just go, no, we've got this is what we're going to do, make an action plan and kind of go from there. Because I think it is very easy to get so wound up in the like, oh my goodness, this is happening, this needs to happen, blah, 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 and get very kind of, oh my goodness, that if you sit down and take 5 minutes to make a plan, it'll probably go better than using those 5 minutes running around in chaos. You can run around in the chaos after you've got a plan, then it's organised chaos, at least, as opposed to just chaos. But if you're trying to get something and often when people care, emotion gets involved and then it gets a bit like even more intense. Just sometimes you need to take a step back, take a breath, I give myself a bit of a reality check of like, okay, this is what needs to happen. It's not the end of the world. It is a bit stressful, but it will be fine. And there's people around, everyone wants to help, everyone's happy to help. I'm happy to help at least, maybe I can't talk for everyone. But like, I feel like I am there almost to be that person. So when someone feels like the world is burning down, you can run to me, or people in my sections can run to me, or anyone can run to me and I can point you in the right direction. But I think just balancing things and seeing the joy that my section brings to so many people, or my sections, that all the student communities bring to people is what kind of keeps me going on a day when I'm like, oh my goodness, everything's going wrong.
From this conversation, we've gathered that you obviously enjoy your role quite a bit, if I'm correct. What advice would you give to anyone thinking about running for it in the upcoming elections?
Enjoy every minute of it. I just enjoy it, go for it. I kind of live by a bit of a like, if you don't try, you'll never know, so you might as well try.
Amazing, brilliant. Well, thank you for coming on today, Lucy.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck with the rest of what you get up to in your job.
Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you.